Hello students, good morning. Chapter number 3, current electricity is going on, and last time what we have studied is Kirchhoff, let me write, Kirchhoff's laws. Kirchhoff's laws are very important in current electricity chapter, not only from the point of view of the board examination but from the point of view of the medical and engineering entrance exams also. So last time we have the part 1 of Kirchhoff's law. The great scientist Kirchhoff, as you know, have given two laws: Kirchhoff's current law, which is also called the Kirchhoff's first law. We have studied, which is also called the junction law. In short, Kirchhoff's current law. Then we have also studied last time Kirchhoff's second law. The second law, as you know, is applicable to a closed loop. So it is also called the loop law or Kirchhoff's voltage law. These we have studied last time in part 1 of the previous lecture. Now for today, again we are going to revise Kirchhoff's first law, Kirchhoff's second law. Now this is the part 2. Along with this, we are also going to study what is called Wheatstone bridge. This also we are going to study today in our lecture. Now before going ahead, let me revise the first law. Kirchhoff's first law, that is called the junction rule or junction law or Kirchhoff's current law. Now it states that, as you know, it states that the sum of the currents entering at the junction point is equal to the sum of the currents leaving the junction point. The law itself is very clear, as you are able to understand. Whatsoever current is entering means whatsoever current is flowing to the junction point, same amount of current is flowing out of the junction point. Now to understand this, let us consider this diagram in which we have the junction point O. Are you able to see? We have the junction point O. Let I1, I2 current are entering into the junction point, and we find that I3 and I4 currents are flowing out, moving away from the junction point, as we are able to see in this diagram. Okay, now according to the first law, I1 plus I2. These are the two currents which are entering into the junction point O must be equal to the sum of the current leaving the or flowing out of the junction point. I1 plus I2 equal to I3 plus I4. And we have made one convention that the current which is entering, we have made one convention, this is called the sign convention for Kirchhoff's current law. The sign convention is like this, that the current which is entering, so entering current is taken as positive, and the current which is leaving the junction point, leaving current is taken as negative. Therefore, in equation 1 we find that I1 and I2 are positive, so it is I1 plus I2, equal to I3 and I4 are leaving, so it is minus I3, okay, minus I4. I4 is also leaving, so it is also with the negative sign, and therefore we find that I1 plus I2 plus I3 plus I4 is 0, or in short we say that the algebraic sum, of the current meeting at a junction point is 0. Algebraic sum of the current meeting at the junction point is 0. Summation of I is 0. Now let me once again explain this first law with the help of one example. Okay, suppose your mummy gives you 10 rupees as a pocket money, then your father gives you 20 rupees as the pocket money. So how much amount is there in your pocket, in your wallet, in your purse? It is 30 rupees. Both are added up, so the total amount which you have, total money which you have is now 30 rupees. Now out of this 30 rupees you purchase a Cadbury chocolate worth rupees 25, and then you purchase one biscuit packet worth rupees 5. So again, how much you have spent is the same amount, rupees 30, which you got from your parents. 25 plus 5 you have spent, that is 30. So the amount which you have received is with the positive sign, and the amount which you have lost, which you have spent in purchasing chocolate and biscuit packet, is again 30 rupees. This is with the negative sign. So therefore again in your purse 0 amount, 0 rupee, nothing is there. And this is how one can explain the law of conservation of charge. First law, Kirchhoff's current law, supports law of conservation of charge, that is the sum total of the charge at the junction point is 0. The current which is flowing is equal to the currents which are flowing out. Rate of flow of charge is nothing but the current, so there is no charge before entering of the current, and the charge is again 0, net charge is 0 after leaving the junction point, and therefore the charge is conserved. The charge is conserved. So now I think students, you all must have understood first law. This is the time when I am repeating it, because last time also the same thing we have studied. Now we come to the second law, Kirchhoff's second law. Okay, this is applicable to a closed loop, so it is also called the loop law or Kirchhoff's voltage law. The statement you have to understand clearly once again, and the statement is like this, that the sum of the product of current and resistance in a closed loop must be equal to the sum of the EMF. Once again I am repeating, the algebraic sum of the product of current and resistance in a closed loop is equal to the sum of the EMF. The EMF is suppose E. Alright, now we have the sign convention. The sign convention, it is for the second law, voltage law, is this, that the product IR is taken as positive. The product IR is taken as positive when we proceed in the direction of the current. A loop is having certain direction, maybe clockwise or anti-clockwise. Now if the direction of the current and the direction of the loop are same, then the product IR is positive. This you understand with the help of one example where we have a resistance R and the current I is flowing in this resistance from left to right. It is flowing from left to right. Now suppose the loop which we have chosen is clockwise. Now we find that the current I and the direction of the loop both are in the same direction, so the product IR we have to take positive. Okay, now if suppose the current is flowing in a direction from right to left through a resistance R and our loop is again clockwise, now we find that in this case the product IR is taken as negative. Is it clear? The direction of the loop is clockwise, the direction of the current is opposite to this, and therefore when we are proceeding in a direction opposite to the current, we are proceeding in the direction of the loop, that is clockwise direction we are proceeding, we are traversing, and the current is flowing in the opposite direction, so the product IR we have to take as negative. Is it clear? Now it is just like this, that in motion in one direction, motion in one dimension, this is right side axis is plus x axis, and when the motion, this may be the origin O, when the motion of the body is in the direction of the positive x axis, both directions are same, then we find that the displacement is positive displacement. Is it clear? But here if we move in a direction opposite to the x-axis, moving opposite to the x-axis, then we find that the displacement is what? It is with the negative sign. All right, now regarding the EMF E, when we proceed in a direction from positive to negative in the direction of the loop, from positive to negative terminal, in this case E is negative. Then here we find that this is anti-clockwise loop, and now we are proceeding from negative to positive. In this case E is what? Positive. So clearly now you have understood Kirchhoff's first law and Kirchhoff's second law. Now we find that the Kirchhoff's second law is based on the law of conservation of energy. This all we have understood last time. Now Kirchhoff's first law and Kirchhoff's second law we will understand with the help of one numerical question which I gave you in the last assignment, that is question number 5. Now students, are you able to read this question number 5? Just take a minute to read this question which I gave you last time, and the solution of this question also I gave you later on. Is it clear? Two cells, let me read the question. Two cells of EMFs 10 volt and 12 volt having internal resistance 1 ohm and 2 ohm respectively are connected in parallel with an external resistance of 5 ohm. Draw the circuit diagram and find current in each part of the circuit. This is the question. Okay, so first we have to draw the circuit diagram, and the circuit diagram you understand how I am going to draw. This is 1 ohm, then this must be the 10 volt battery. A bigger diagram I will draw. One more battery is there of 12 volt EMF, positive, negative. This is 2 ohm. Then we find that there is one external resistance having resistance 5 ohm resistance value. Okay, now let I1 is the current which we draw from the first cell having EMF 10 volt. Here the current is I2. Let me give the name A, B, C. C is here, C, D, E and F. A, B, C, D, E and F are the points in this figure. Alright, now we find that in order to solve this question, so one part is over of the question number 5. Okay, one part is over, that we have made the diagram. Are you able to see? We have made the diagram. One part is over. Now we have to solve and find out the current. Let I3 is the current which is flowing through the external resistance having resistance 5 ohm. Is it clear? Now there are two junction points, F and C. There are only two junction points, F and C. So first we apply Kirchhoff current law to the junction points F and C. F and C. Okay. We find that the sum of the current entering at the junction point F and C, they are I1 and I2, must be equal to the current which is leaving the junction point. Here we find that I3 is the current. Here the current I2, same amount of current will go back to the cell of EMF 12 volt, and same amount of current I1 will go back to the first cell of EMF 10 volt. So by applying Kirchhoff's current law to the point F and C, we get the equation I1 plus I2 equal to I3. Now next we have to apply Kirchhoff's voltage law to the closed loop. Closed loop we take as A, E, D, B, A. This we have taken, and this we have taken in the, this is loop number 1. This we have taken in the anti clockwise direction. Alright, now the law states that sum of the product of I and R equal to sum of the EMF in this loop A, E, D, B, A. Alright, so we find that here 5 I3 current is flowing here, so 5 I3 now moving ahead, plus 1 I1 equal to sum of the EMF, only one battery is there, and we are proceeding in the direction of the loop from negative to positive. Whenever we proceed from negative to positive, the EMF is positive, plus 10. Now in place of I3 we will substitute I1 plus I2 plus I1 equal to 10, or what we'll be getting 5 I1 plus 5 I2 plus I1 equal to 10, or 6 I1 plus 5 I2 equal to 10. This is equation number 1. We get one linear equation, which is equation number 1, from one particular loop. Now we find that we have one more loop. This loop is also anti-clockwise. So next step is to, third step is to again apply Kirchhoff voltage law to the closed loop. Now the closed loop is C F E D C. All right, then we find that here it is sigma IR equal to sigma E, or next step will be 5 I3 plus 2 I2. They are in the direction of the current. Product IR equal to 12. 12 is taken positive because we are in the direction of the loop, which we have taken as anti-clockwise. This is also anti-clockwise. Substituting the value of I3, we will be getting 5 I1 plus I2 plus 2 I2 equal to 12, or 5 I1 plus 5 I2 plus 2 I2 equal to 12. Followed? Now in the third step we have to apply Kirchhoff voltage law to the other closed loop. So the second loop is CFEDC. CFED, this one, and we get the steps like this. So here it is 5 I1 plus 7 I2 equal to 12. 5 I1 plus 7, 5 plus 2 is equal to 12. This is equation number 2. So we have one more linear equation, equation number 2. Now if you solve these two linear equations, solving equation 1 and 2, what we are going to get is this, that we will be getting I1 equal to 10 by 17 ampere. Then I2 will be getting as 22 by 17 ampere, and I3, which is nothing but I1 plus I2, that will be equal to 10 by 17 plus 22 by 17, that is equal to 32 by 17 ampere. So the different currents are I1, I2 and I3, and these three currents we have calculated using Kirchhoff's first law KCL and Kirchhoff's second law, which is KVL. Now one more thing I want to tell you regarding the numerical question which are based on Kirchhoff's law, that we can check whether the answers which we have calculated are correct or not. We can check the answers. Now for this we find that there is one more loop. Now to check the answers we take the third loop. Students, are you able to see the third loop here? The third loop is this. This is the third loop. Are you able to see? So here to check, apply Kirchhoff voltage law to the closed loop. And what is the closed loop? Are you able to see? It is A, F, C, B, A. A, F, C, B, A. A, F, C, B, A. This is also taken as anti-clockwise direction. So the law is summation of IR is equal to summation of E. Okay. Now here we find that the current, we proceed from here, the current 1 I1, 1 ohm is the resistance through which the current I1 is flowing. Then we have the current I2. Now here we find that the loop is in the direction opposite to the current, so here it is 2 I2 must be equal to the summation of E. Summation of E. Now we find that proceeding in this way, we find that the EMF 12 volt is negative, because as per the convention we are moving from positive terminal to the negative terminal inside the cell, and therefore it is negative, plus 10, EMF 10 volt is positive, and therefore what we'll be getting is I1 minus 2 I2 equal to minus 2. Now we find that left hand side we have I1 minus 2 I2. So in the left hand side we substitute the value of I1, which is 22 by 17, minus 2 I2. The value of I2 we have calculated as 22 by 17. 22 by 17. We are checking this one. So here what we get is 22 by 17 minus 44 by 17, and this is equal to, what we will be getting is here. Okay, we have the I1 minus 2 I2 equal to minus 2. The value of I1 we have calculated 10. It should be 10. 10 upon 17 minus 2 I2. The value of I2 is 22 by 17. So here it will be 34 by 17 with a negative sign. This is equal to minus 2, and it is equal to right hand side of the equation number 3. Equation number 3. Therefore, we find that the value of the current I1, I2 and I3 which we have calculated, they are correct. They are correct. Okay. So this is all about the Kirchhoff's first law, which is called the current law, and second one is the Kirchhoff's voltage law. Okay. Now after that we have to study a new topic, which is Wheatstone bridge. Wheatstone bridge is in fact an application of Kirchhoff's laws, because both the laws are applicable in case of Wheatstone bridge. So the next item which we are going to discuss will be next item which we are going to study is the Wheatstone bridge. Wheatstone bridge, again an important topic in current electricity. The great scientist Wheatstone arranged the 4 resistances so as to form a bridge, and therefore the arrangement of 4 resistances is called Wheatstone bridge. Okay, so we find that Wheatstone bridge is nothing but an arrangement of 4 resistances P, Q, R and S in the form of a bridge. Therefore, it is called the Wheatstone bridge. Now, we find that the 4 resistances are joined in this way. Let me draw the diagram for Wheatstone bridge. A, B, C, D. In between the arm AB we have the resistance P. In between BC we have the resistance Q. In between AD we have the resistance R, and here in between the points D and C we have the resistance S. A battery is connected across the horizontal diagonal junction point A and C with one key. This is called the battery key. All right. Now, in order to check whether the potential of B and D is same or different, we have one galvanometer whose resistance is also G, and here we have one tapping key TK. BK is the battery की, TK is the tapping, okay, G is the resistance of the galvanometer. Okay, now we find that the principle of Wheatstone bridge. We will discuss principle of Wheatstone bridge, very important. It states that if P upon Q equal to R upon S, then no current will flow through the galvanometer, that is Ig will be 0. So if P upon Q equal to R upon S, then no current will flow through the galvanometer and potential of B must be equal to potential of D. So a new topic we have started. It is the group of 4 resistances P, Q, R and S, which are connected as shown in the diagram, and this is called Wheatstone bridge. Next time we will obtain the balanced condition of Wheatstone bridge. Okay students, take care, bye, thank you.